You want us
All
to
right,
upload it?
everyone, welcome. Let's go ahead and get started. Uh, Today we are gathered together, and there we are in the spirit of Thanksgiving already. But we're gathering today to talk a little bit about how Blackboard can be used to support our students. We'll look at the attendance feature and the gradebook feature, but we also are joined by Hillary and Denise, who will be able to go through, and my understanding that you probably are familiar with CRM Advise already. But again, we want to take a few moments to review some of these bigger picture points so we can think about how all of these systems integrate so we can support our students. So now that Hillary and Denise are both moderators, I'm going to ask that we start our PowerPoint. And the first part of the presentation will be a review, or again, if you're not familiar with it, an overview of the CRM Advise, and then we can go into some of the Blackboard features a little bit later in today's chat. So Hillary and Denise.
Okay. Wait, I just re-downloaded it. Where did it go? Oh. Okay, let me try this one more time.
Are you gonna are you gonna share? Do you want me to share?
If you got, it's not popping up for some reason for me to even add it here. I'm not sure what is going on. Do you have it? I mean, I
Yes.
have it up, but in order to share it on Blackboard, you have to upload it first, which is
Oh,
what I
right.
was doing. I'm gonna try this one more time. Sorry.
Okay, I'm uploading.
As I
It's
say, I finally got
converting.
it too.
Yeah, this is a step I'm not used to.
Yeah, it says converting for me too.
Well, for those who don't know us, my name is Hillary Meyer. I'm the Dean of Academic Success here at Triton, over many of the academic support areas and partnering with Denise on project managing our implementation of CRM Advise. So we wanted to do a deep dive into the faculty's role in particular, how you can help us, help our students, help yourselves, help each other. Oh, there it goes. Can you see this?
Yeah,
Yes, we can. Can we also
Great.
get that presentation later on via email? Would that be possible?
Sure. We
Sure.
would love to share it with you.
yeah.
So some of you may have seen some of this before. This might be new to others. So we want to leave plenty of time for really the heart of this workshop, which is all about Blackboard. But we did feel it was important, as Kevin said, to contextualize where this is coming from and what it will do, so you understand what a critical, important role you will play in ensuring we get the data we need to have our advisors support our students proactively. So let's get right into it. So first, this CRM Advise is very much within our Guided Pathways Pillar 2 and 3. It's all about getting students on the path and ensuring they stay on the path. At CRM Advise's student success management system that helps with case management for students. It helps with proactive advising, and it helps all of our support staff literally be on the same page to provide holistic support to our students. Students, as I mentioned, they'll have some proactive supports. Advisors and support teams will be able to reach out before things have to escalate. We'll be able to notify and provide interventions and provide resources to students earlier on in their semester and in their time here. Eventually, students, what you'll see, will be able to interact themselves with the platform and really just get everyone to ensure we can communicate thoroughly and frequently with all of our students, but especially those who need us the most. We met together with a truly cross-functional team of stakeholders across campus and looked at some of our goals as a campus with what CRM Advise could do to help us achieve those goals. And we outlined several, including specifics around increasing retention and completion. And as I mentioned, this centralized view, which we never had before in terms of having a single one-stop shop for everyone to understand what's going on with their students and to build notes and contact info and have a record of what's been going on. So a staff member can pick up with a conversation that someone else may have had with the student and be fully informed. We're also looking at improving and developing workflows. And ultimately, this is all about course and program success for our students. And I'll hand this over to Denise at this point.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. For those who do not know me, I'm Dean Denise Jones. I'm the Dean of Retention and Student Engagement. I oversee advising, the testing center, and new student orientation, as well as some of our student support initiative programs, such as Triumph and Surge. I'm excited to talk about how CRM Advise will be used when it comes to advisors, the benefits with faculty, but ultimately, how will this really help us to increase our student success? So when it comes to CRM Advise, it is an Ellucian platform. So for those who are not familiar, Ellucian is also the platform we use for colleagues. So it is a platform that our institution is already familiar with. So some of the configurations could go a little more seamlessly since they're all under the same umbrella. When it comes to CRM Advise, it's composed of two different compartments. We have information that feeds into CRM Advise, and that would be Colleague. So currently we have Colleague, which manages all of our student data, the academic history. We also do all of our registration in Colleague, as well as student financials. Colleague is also attached to our student portal and employee portal, as well as our student planning tool. So I know for faculty, you all have a web advisor for faculty. So Colleague is our main system that speaks to all of it. And then we have CRM Advise. So CRM Advise actually will only receive information from Colleague. So it will not send information back to Colleague. It's just a platform that receives information. So with CRM Advise, we'll be able to use the information that we get from Colleague to manage our student success scores. It's going to handle our alerting, as well as sending any engagement and communication to our students. And then we talk about our LMS. So here at Triton College, we use Blackboard. And so Blackboard is going to be really essential when it comes to feeding information into CRM Advise. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then we're also going to just talk about the benefits of Blackboard, especially with the attendance tool and the Gradebook, of how that's really going to help us even more when it comes to this new platform. It's not moving. Okay, so let's talk about the roles. For advisors, this is going to be a new platform they're getting used to. They have now been trained. They're now actually in the system using it. It really is some great perks to it already. Number one was that centralized view that Hillary was talking about. Just being able to see a lot of the students' information in just one screen. Previously to CRM Advise, advisors would use Colleague, they would use the student portal, they would use student planning tool, and all of these was three different websites they would have to go to, and then they have to click on one screen to see their transcripts, click on another screen to see then the courses that they're currently in, then they have to click on another screen. So now with CRM Advise, it's not all these different screens they had to memorize. All of the information is now presented in a more centralized view. All they have to do is just continue to scroll down and they'll get all of the information that they normally would have had to click on several screens for. The other thing in helping us to be very proactive with our engagement to our students is going to be success scores. So with success scores, we really get to focus our attention on our students who are more at risk. We also get to see our students that are doing well, or making sure that we're encouraging them and keeping them to stay on the path of completing. And then with alerts, this is where faculty is going to come in. So we have Retention Alert 2.0 is what we're calling CRM Advise. It's when faculty will get to send alerts on behalf of students, but we also now have automated alerts within CRM Advise. And the best thing about automated alerts, as long as faculty is inputting their grades or their attendance, is some alerts that they will not even have to create. They will automatically be created to send to an advisor to then work with that student. We also have some other automated alerts that will give us a heads up that, hey, this student might be needing additional support in whatever area. And so we're really excited about that. Hopefully coming in the summer of next year, students will also be able to raise alerts on themselves. However, they don't know that they're raising an alert. When they raise an alert, it's more so that they're presented that they just have a question. And so we really love that now students get to just have their own questions, where it will raise an alert, and then someone will then get to be able to interact with them and help them with whatever steps they need. And last but not least is notes and activities. Really having a place that is centralized for recording all the different interactions with students is very, very important. And so we now have that in CRM Advise. So we have students that are part of multiple programs or talk to different faculty or within financial aid. And so now we'll get to see a lot of that engagement so that we're not sending the students the same communication because they just may have talked to one advisor, or they may have talked to their advisor in their program. So this is a way that we're really going to be able to be more efficient with our students as well. So how does the Blackboard information help our advisors? So just as I was saying, if you look on here, you see where it says student risk level. This is the student success score. So advisors will get to click on one of the three areas: low, medium, high. High is for our students who are more high at risk, depending on different variables that we have. Please note that just because a student may have a certain risk level, that does not mean that they will not be successful. It's just certain things that we put into the system to say, hey, based upon our data, based upon our research, these are things that we have noticed these students might need additional support and or guidance, or might need to be monitored a little bit more. If you look to the other screenshot, this is actually a screenshot from CRM Advise. And so one of the conditions, or two of the conditions that will automatically create an alert for a student is more than 5 assessment grades below 70% from Blackboard, and then no Blackboard login for the past 7 days. So these two conditions is directly related to what we're going to be talking about towards the end of this presentation, which is the attendance tool and then the Gradebook. This will automatically pull from that, and that is how we can then create these automated alerts so that someone can reach out to these students and provide some engagement to see what is going on and how we can get them back on track. For our faculty perspective, you all will see a light version. So you'll get to see your roster, so you'll get to view the names of all the students in your sections, and then this is where you will then send your alerts. You are able to click on more than one student for the same alert. However, you cannot click on more than one type of alert for one student. I don't know if that makes sense or not. You can select multiple students for the same alert, but you cannot select more than one type of alert for one student. And the reason is because those alerts are set up to go to certain departments that then would initiate different kinds of communication. So it needs to be streamlined in regards to the type of alert that was submitted. I think this is where Christina is going to talk. Oh, I can hop in. I wasn't aware I was
Oh,
I can continue. Oh, it's fine. So this is just a screenshot of, and I can hear echo. I don't know if that's on my part. Can you hear me well? Okay. This is a screenshot of what it will look like on the faculty side when you are creating an alert. In this example, we cloned, I believe this is Christopher Clem's class. So you will be able to see the class and the section on the left-hand side. And then you'll have a list of all of your students. You are able to click on a student. You can also, as Denise mentioned, click on multiple students. And then on the right-hand side, you would select the type of alert for this specific student. So for example, if the student, you're wanting to refer them for tutoring, you would click on the appropriate alert type, which is the academic low homework, quiz, test score, tutor referral. Based off the type of alert that you select, it does go to a specific department. From there, you'll click the type of alert, click the students that you want to create that alert for, and then you would select the next button. The next button, I think it's maybe the next slide, it gives you the opportunity to create notes for that student. In the notes section, we do ask that you are just detailed, as the student support staff will be able to see your note. So many faculty currently, they may include maybe their attendance policy if it's an attendance concern, or they may include their late work policy, especially if it's a student that hasn't submitted any assignments. Just something for the student support staff to be aware of so that they can kind of help guide the student when they are working with the student. Next, you are able to see all of the alerts that you have created, as you see on the right-hand side of this slide. And it does provide you with the status of the alert. So if the alert is still open, you can see that, and you'll also see alerts that have been closed. Just so you are aware, on the back end, we do have a business process where most students will receive an automated alert. An automated email once an alert is created, just letting them know that someone in a specific department will be reaching out to you. And it also provides them with some need to know information. So for example, if the alert is for tutoring, they'll be notified that someone from our Academic Success Center will reach out. But in the meantime, this is how you can meet with the tutor. This is where that department is located. So just some kind of need to know information until someone reaches out to them. Someone will reach out within 2 business days to the student via text. We now, with CRM Advise, have the capability to text students. So we will be able to text them, and they'll get a text from their advisor or someone from the Academic Success Center. And if we haven't received a response back from the student, that department will then call the student as a third measure to contact the student regarding the alert. This information, again, you will be able to see in your alert history. It'll kind of let you know the status of the alert, so you are aware when the alert has been closed and what's going on there. We are currently working on another process that once the alert is closed, you will also be notified of the resolution from that alert, meaning, we were able to speak with the student, or we couldn't get in contact with the student. We've called them, emailed, text them, but you will be made aware of exactly what happened. But for now, in the alert history, it does let you know the status of each alert that you have created. I will say, in regards to the alert status and being updated, thank you, Christina, you are absolutely correct. However, there are 2 types of alerts where you will not receive an update, and those are for alerts that create cases. And so those are more confidential for situations that have been directed to our counseling department and or our CAS department for accommodations. Faculty will not receive an update. You will just know if the case was still open or closed, but you will not actually know the resolution of those particular alerts. Okay. So we do have where alerts impact the success scores. So anytime a student has 2 or more faculty alerts raised, it will impact their success score. So their success score will drop, and the advisor will then see that a student success score has dropped, which then they can reach out to say, hey, let's see what's going on. Let's look at the alerts as to what different faculty are raising. It might be a common thread or theme across different courses, or it might be something that's particular to a certain course. So we just wanted you all to know that when it comes to faculty raising alerts, as well as alerts that's being created due to attendance or the gradebook feature, we have it embedded in multiple ways to make sure that we're really being proactive. Earlier, I talked about student experience alerts, where students will get to raise alerts on themselves. Again, it's presented more if they just have a question or a concern. So one of the, or some of the examples of the type of alerts that they can create is if they need help need to get help with homework, if they want to add or drop a class, hey, they need help with applying for graduation, they're having some emotional or personal concerns. So all of these are linked to direct people and or departments who will then reach out to that student regarding next steps or resolution. In regards to our implementation time, again, this is just for context, so you all can just see how far we have come along and how long we've been going through the CRM Advise implementation plan. And so we have this set up in different phases. We concluded the first part of our phase, which was the training and really starting to implement it within our system, and that was in the spring and summer of 2021. So for this fall semester, we're currently really trying to promote CRM Advise throughout the campus, as you see us presenting here. We're at various other different meetings. We'll also be presenting to chairs and coordinators. And then we're just trying to make sure that we have everyone who needs to be trained during this semester. So all of our campus advisors and support staff have been trained. And then we're going to also be working with our faculty, so working with you all to train you when it comes to the CRM Advise Retention Alert 2.0, just to show you how you can raise alerts. It's very simple, very user-friendly, and it's going to be very simple to teach. In regards to our phase 2, which is pre-launch, is retention alerts. So we also have been spending a good bulk of our time making sure that we are really trying to engage our faculty so that they understand what CRM Advise is, as well as really trying to highlight the benefits of using Blackboard, more importantly, the features of the attendance tool, as well as Gradebook. And we're hoping to have more of a rollout with all of our advisors and faculty experience come spring. And then we're going to do some regular targeted I'm just tongue twisted today. Regular communication that's going to be going out to our students through CRM Advise. So we're just going to be tracking all of that, seeing how this new system is really working for our advisors as well as our faculty, and then the impact with our students. At this time, I'm actually going to turn it back over to Kevin, who's going to really talk about the impact of the attendance tool as well as Gradebook via Blackboard when we're not fully utilizing it.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Denise and Christina and Hillary, for setting everything up. Let's continue on a little bit, and I do want to present this, and then I'll pause for a second and just see if you guys have any questions, and if you do, go ahead and post those to our chat pod, and we can address your questions before going further. But all of this really works when we use Blackboard, attendance, and the grades. And so I wanted to just point out some of the ways that not using attendance and the Gradebook in Blackboard will impact our students' progress and our ability to support students. And so you can see we've brainstormed a number of points here. Learning snapshots of students' progress is, of course, natural for students to want to know their grades all the time. And they should have a really current understanding of their current status in the course. And so, we want to be able to use Blackboard Gradebook for this reason. If they don't know their grades, if the institution doesn't know their academic standing, other problems come up, not being able to register for courses in the following semester. There may be financial aid issues as well. We can see that if the institution doesn't know about current academic status of students, there could be accreditation issues that come up as well if we can't accurately measure student progress and have a recorded, documentation of that. In terms of grades for course or other issues that might come up, grievance is often connected to understanding where students are at in the course or how the course grades are determined, and transparency in assignments and assessment and things of this nature. And then kind of why we're all here today is we can't figure out how we can support students if we don't know their current academic status. And so this transitions us to the next phase of our presentation, more along the lines of Blackboard and the tools. So let me just check the chat pod. Are there any questions so far before we go on to the next phase? Looks like we're good. Did you have a question there, Coach? All right, I'll continue on and then let us know if you have any questions. All right, so, the question here is who initiates the alert? Well, there's a number of ways it could be done, the faculty member or the student, based on what we just heard from Denise and others. Students could raise their own alert if they have some concerns about their academic or maybe non-academic. But then the faculty members can also raise alerts as well. So let's start off by the attendance, because the attendance is really a big component of making this new system work. And so on the screen, I have 3 different screen grabs here of how you can activate the attendance tool in Blackboard. And I'm really curious, how many of you are using attendance right now? Maybe you could just say, yes, I am in the chat pod. I'm wondering if no one's used attendance. I'm just trying to gauge, how familiar you are with it. And you can see there's 3 different screen grabs here. And if you want to follow along in Blackboard on your own, I encourage you to do so. So you can see you want to go to the control panel and you go to customization. And then after you go to customization, you'll see tool availability. And then when you click on tool availability, you'll see that attendance is there, but you have to actually click it to turn it on. So just check that box and you'll activate the attendance feature. And I have a little demo here, and I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not. Did I just take it off the screen actually? Okay, cool.
We still see the PowerPoint.
Okay, great. So you can see it's customization. It's just what I said, tool availability. Click on that, and then mine is already activated. So there you go, and you click that.
So they're not, we can't see that. We still see the PowerPoint.
Yeah, so that went off screen. Sorry about that, folks, but it's just me doing this. Customization, tool availability, and then clicking on the attendance and activating that. All right, so those are the steps you need to follow to activate it. And note that once you activate it, then that will connect to your gradebook. And so one of the features that we're talking about with using attendance is it's going to be really easy for you to download attendance records and submit it directly here to Triton, to the records. And there's a number of reasons why this will be important. And I understand it's a little bit small here. But what you'll notice is that with the attendance features, it's important, again, for documenting what's referred to as seat time, where, because of federal funding and accreditation issues, institutions often need to document at any given moment what the seat time is. And so having an accurate record of attendance helps Triton meet these federal funding mandates. It's also an important thing to think about with international students. At a previous institution, we had a large international population, and visa regulations demanded that we were able to show seat time in the course for our international students. And then, of course, when we think about student retention, and that's the spirit of our meeting today, we want to have attendance as a record, as a way to document our retention efforts. So these are some of the key points for using the attendance tool in your class. This screenshot just shows you the details of how you can submit data when you activate your attendance. Let me go back one more screen here for a second. So here we're going to go ahead and we've activated our attendance. And here's what we're going to see now. Once we've activated our attendance, if we start looking at our features, we're going to see attendance looking like this. And then I'll go right to the next slide. And this shows you our settings. And again, I'm available to meet with you individually to walk you through this again. But what you might not be able to see here is if they're present, that's 100%. If they're late, this is just showing you that you can adapt this. You can change it if they're late to, again, this is something we can discuss privately. But you can set up your scoring rubric here for attendance. It will connect to your gradebook. So that's something to think about when you activate it. This example shows late is 50% score. So if that's something that works for you, that's something you can discuss with your chair, your dean, or with your colleagues. But we'll look at that as needed. But it will automatically be set up, so you do need to be mindful of that. And then another aspect about Blackboard that will help us is in managing our course performance is the types of reports that we can run. And so the course reports is available underneath the evaluation tool in the control panel. And I'm curious, how many of you have experience already running course reports? And if you've run course reports, what ones have you found useful? Grade summaries, absolutely. So there's lots of options for running a course report, actually. And I'm going to show you some of these details here. If you can't read it very clearly, it's about all activity inside of a content area in your class. You can run course reports for course activities. You can see, of course, as Nancy points out, grade summaries for your assignments, etc. So I have one example here to show you. I ran a course report, and what you're seeing here, and you can determine the dates. So I just put in, basically 1 week, and the course ended on the 15th. And what you're seeing here is on the 15th, the last day of class, a lot of people accessed the course. You can see it was kind of slow in the last week of school, but as we geared up towards the very last day of class, it started to go up. And then this is just another view of user activity inside the modules, inside the content areas. And again, this is just the last week of the program, essentially. But you can see, again, 46 times this person accessed content. Over here, we have another big number, 40 times. And I don't have my glasses on. We see, I think, another big number here is at 66. But anyway, it gives you a really clear idea of who's not accessing the course at all, or minimally active in the content areas, right? So you can, of course, then go in individually and see what's going on with this particular student and find out more details. But this is all available in Gradebook for you. And then the Retention Center is another key feature that is already set up and ready to go. You don't have to do anything special to activate the Retention Center in Gradebook. So this will be something that you want to think about using. And let me show you what you'll see here. When you are to look at the Retention Center, you want to go to the upper right-hand corner. And then when you click on this, you're going to see this detail right here with the arrows going up or arrow going down. And this is how you'll access the Retention Center. You pick your course. And then once you pick your course, you're going to start seeing the details and students that are at risk. You'll see the risk breakdown here. It will help you get a sense of who's missing deadlines. And again, these grade alerts, again, when the grade drops below 25%, or you can again set this up. So you can set up your range as well. So I would set mine up to be like 70% and set up a range. So if anyone's dropping below C, I'll get notified. And then here's a more detailed view. You can also access the Retention Center by simply going over here to the control panel. And if you click on Evaluation, you see Retention Center on the left-hand side of the screen. That's a pretty straightforward way of using it. And then you see, and this is not anyone from Triton, this is just the Blackboard example here that I grabbed. But you can see another view, another detailed view of students that are at risk. And the deadlines, alert for grades, activity alerts. So this gives you a very clear sense of what's going on in the course. And this is available, the Retention Center is available right now in Gradebook. So it's something that's a way that you can start tracking this. And then that concludes our formal aspect of the presentation, but we wanted to, build in some time here for some questions and answers. I know there were a few other questions about attendance. And so at this point, we want to open it up and hear what you have to say. Any questions or any other points that we can come back to?
Kevin, I have a question. So right now I'm utilizing quite heavily the retention alerts through the portal. So it means that will go away and will be replaced by the Blackboard?
Well,
No.
the Blackboard, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay,
no. So the only thing that will be replaced with retention alert will be the link that you will submit retention alerts. So it will just look different. You currently are using the employee portal, and it takes you to our current retention alert. The only thing that's going to change about alerts is that you will get a new link that will then take you to CRM Advise, where you will submit alerts. The good thing is, for many of the alerts, we do have things that are automated, but no. I think Kevin was just showing you other features within Blackboard that would just be useful or that you all have access to.
Okay, I think that's what my confusion was. I thought it's maybe that's moving also to the Blackboard. I used the other ones he showed during on my courses. I go to Blackboard and look at those, and so thank you for clarifying. And when did you say the new one will be available on the portal?
Oh, so that will be available in the spring, so in January, and we will also have the link embedded in Blackboard as well.
Thank you, Denise.
And Jelena has a good question. Do we directly log into this application, or we document in Blackboard and then it populates CRM Advise?
Well, I would just like to clarify what she says, this application, what are you referring to?
Sorry, I'm sorry, Denise, are you asking me a question?
No, Helena said, do we directly log into this application or do we document? So it will be both. We do have where you can log straight into CRM Advise and submit an alert. But what we're saying is if you are using your Blackboard attendance tool as well as Gradebooks, we will get alerts created for students just based upon what you're already submitting in Blackboard. When it comes to alerts, we have other alerts other than just attendance or Gradebook. So you can still submit an alert through CRM Advise for the other type of situations. I don't know. Does that make sense? The current alert, is that what you're referring to? How you can
Yeah.
submit a retention alert now?
Yes. How is, I mean, I, how to get to that alert page? Is it on the grade sheet that we see the alert? How to
No,
alert
the
the student?
current retention alert is in the employee portal, in your faculty portal.
Employee faculty portal.
Can I add
Okay.
something? There may be a little confusion around. There's a difference between retention center, which is in Blackboard, and submitting a retention alert. We may have a branding issue. Those are two separate things. Retention center is not where you submit an alert for a student. The current process to submit an alert for a student is you do have to do so through your portal. It's Web Advisor. That's where you would go to submit an alert for a student. Starting in spring, we are going to be transitioning from the current system, which is through Web Advisor, which is in your portal, to CRM Advise. CRM Advise, there will be a link for CRM Advise that will be added to the Blackboard course shell, as well as you can also access it through your portal. But Retention Center is not where you now or in spring will submit a retention alert for a student.
Right. What I saw Retention Center is giving that faculty information of who they can create alerts for. That's what I saw in Retention Center, that you can use Retention Center to then create your alerts.
Yeah, I think because of the name, I've heard other faculty just get a little confused about, okay, where do I submit it? Because in Blackboard, you have that Retention Center, so they think that they can submit an alert through Retention Center. But I'm not entirely familiar with Retention Center. Kevin, you may be able to answer this a little bit better, but it's just kind of giving you an overview of how everyone in your class is doing. However, to submit an actual alert for a student, you do have to either currently use Web Advisor in fall, or starting in spring, you would have to transition to CRM Advise, not through Retention Center.
I do have one last question. I don't have the retention center under my evaluation. Do I have to add it, or is there someone that I can contact to have that added?
I'm happy to work with you. It should be under, if you log into your courses with Blackboard, it should be there.
Okay, because I only see course reports and performance dashboard. I'll email you, and then maybe I can.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to show you. We can meet real time if you want. And
thanks, Kevin.
Yep.
Thank you so much. It was very informational. I really appreciate it, and have a great day.
I'm willing to stay on. Thank you, everyone. I'm willing to stay here and demo if you want. I'm more than happy to do that right now, or feel free to email me later and we can set up appointments and meet that way as well. But thank you so much, everyone, for taking the time to come today.
Kevin, I have a question for you.
Yep.
You know, on the grade sheet, we are entering the grade, correct? So the grade sheet is accessible for the CTE center also. Center for Teaching Excellence. You so whether this alert can be automatically sent to those students who come in the 25% range instead of can is this program enable an automatic alert to a student saying that, no, look, your grade is here and you need to work on that, instead of the faculty letting the students know.
Let's see, I'm trying to follow the question here.
The question is that on the grade sheet, we are, I am putting the grades if the student submits, and many of the students submit them on time. The grade sheet or computer automatically, Blackboard grades that and put the grade. But there are some students who are behind submission, so their total grades are below. So whether an automatic alert can be sent by the CTE saying that, look, you're not